Hello, I'm Mimi Kirk of the Institute for Middle East Studies at George Washington University. I'm pleased to introduce Dr. Soraya El Kahlaoui, a postdoctoral researcher in the Conflict and Development Department at Ghent University, where she's also affiliated with the Middle East and North Africa Research Group. She's an expert on property conflict in Morocco and Tunisia and speaks in this interview about land dispossession in Morocco as background to the Middle East Report article, Global Aspirations and Local Realities of Solar Energy in Morocco. Dr. El Kahlaoui begins with an explanation of small-scale protests in Morocco, which she calls micro-mobilizations, that are in response to global dispossession, including land grabbing by the state for development projects such as the Noor solar installation covered in the article. Thanks to Dr. El Kahlaoui for joining us.
Again, if we look at the margin, we can observe that there is micro-mobilization that were happening, as I said, before 2011, but also increasing with 2011 and after 2011, that are about what I call like general or global dispossession. So what are this micro mobilization? They are against the privatization of tribal land, so what we call collective land in Morocco. They are against also extractivism, and they are also for resources. So, for example, privatization of water source, for example. What we have also, it's the kind of micro mobilization against a big project of development. So of course you are talking about solar energy project, but we also have the big urban project and the big touristical project. And that's go back for me to the very basic question of who owned the land in Morocco and how the land tenure is defined in Morocco. So the issue is that the colonialism, in order to make the land available for the colonial state, it creates like a legal system in Morocco, but also in all the colonized country. It happened in all the MENA region, but also in India and also in South America. It's really like the same philosophy, let's say, because there's some details that can change, but it's the same philosophy of saying that, okay, we have tribes, and these tribes, they own the land collectively, but in order to make these lands and these resources available for the colonial state, so in order to can extract what the resources that are in the land, but also in order to invest in the land, in order to build big project, for example, or to also have like agribusiness industry, we need to privatize the land and to be able to take this land and to sell it, so to put it in the market. So in order to do this, there is like very well-known legislation in Morocco, that is the Dahir 1919, that basically says that the lands, the tribe only own the use of the land, so they are usufructuary, but they don't have the property of it. Okay, so they can only possess the land, but they don't have the property of it. The property of it was during the colonial time passed to what we call la Direction des Affaires Indigènes. And after the independence, this history is very long, but I'm making it very quick. It's a bit caricatural, but anyway, that's the big philosophy of it. So after the independence, the problem is that they didn't change the law, you know? So we are basically today governing the country with colonial law. So that's what, for example, Brenda Bendar, but also Karen Rignall are trying also to to emphasize that we have like a colonial legacy in the way that we manage, we govern all the land and the resources. And of course, that is this kind of colonial philosophy or let's say this post-colonial way of governing the country and the territory is really useful for investors, because then we have like very big resources of land that people, they don't have, the people of the land, they don't have the property of it. But the Ministry of the Interior can like take the land and set up that it's for public interest. So what is public interest? It can be, again, touristical project, any big project of development, mining, anything, urban also expansion, and to sell it to investor. So this is like, let's say, the political background or of this. When it happens, it always happens, this kind of things, in this land grabbing, let's say, process. It always happens on very vulnerable and marginalized communities. So often what we have is micro mobilization, micro resistance. The solar installation also created a lot of problem in terms of water and in terms of land, because also it was installed in like collective land, so they expropriate all the village from their land. But in that case, it was so crazy, the omerta about that, you know. It was really, it's really difficult to talk to people, to get interview with the people in the village. People are really afraid to speak about that. So there was no mobilization there, and it was even difficult to get any information, to be honest. So we know that there is a problem there about water, and that this and solar project created a lot of inequality, but it's difficult to hear about it, you know. Like, except the work of Karen Rignall, there's not a lot about it, and we didn't hear, for example, local press also talk about it a lot.
I think that's great. Thank you so much again for your insights and for being with us for this project called the Institute for Middle East Studies MERIP Public Outreach Partnership. Thanks again, Dr. Kahlaoui.
Thank you.